Hi everyone, Pastor Kate here, and whether you attend Westminster regularly or are just a friend who's joining us online, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about being a family. I bet you're wondering, why do you have an orange Christmas tree? Or why do you have a Christmas tree up in May? Those are all very good questions. Well, if you know something about my family, it is me and my husband Micah, who works with the youth here at Westminster. And something that's very special about Micah and Micah's family is that they are big football fans. And not just football fans, but a team called Auburn, which is in the state of Alabama, which is where Micah comes from, which is far away from here. But the thing about Auburn is that their biggest color is orange. So we have this orange Christmas tree, and one of our rooms is all Auburn themed in honor of Micah's love for football. And that seems like it might be something silly, but it actually has to do with our story today. So I'm going to read our story, and then we'll talk a little bit about football and what it has to do with the church. So this is called One Church, and it's based on 1 Corinthians, okay? Listen now. Today, people get text messages from friends. But Paul and his people, they used to write letters. Many years ago, a church community, kind of like ours, received a letter from the Apostle Paul. After Pentecost, which is coming up very soon, the church began to spread beyond Jerusalem. Some followers of Jesus started a church in the city called Corinth. That's a faraway city. This church was like one big family, but sometimes they quarreled. That means they fought. One day they began to argue about who was the best follower of Jesus. The argument went on and on and on. Some people sent a message to their friend Paul asking for help. Paul couldn't come, so he wrote a letter. And when that letter arrived, the people gathered together to hear what Paul had to say. And this is what Paul said. Dear friends, our church is like a body. A body is made up of different parts: head, legs, arms, feet. Each part has a very different job it needs to do. Imagine if the whole body were a giant mouth. How would it see? If the body were just an eyeball, how would it move around? The ear can't say to the mouth, I don't need you. The head can't say to the nose, go away, I don't want you. How silly would that be? Each person in the church is like a part of the body, and each one of us is very important. We each have a job to do, but we can work together. We can help one another. Remember, dear friends, we need one another because we are each a part of God's church. Love, your friend Paul. The people thought very carefully about Paul's words, and the people realized it was silly to argue about who was the best follower of Jesus. They were each important. They each had a job to do, and they needed one another. They knew that if they worked together, they would be able to do wonderful things for God. And that's what they did. And that's the story of One Church. Now, Paul tried to talk to the church in Corinth about how if they were a body, there were different parts. And sometimes that might work for you. But what I think is that maybe we're a little bit like a football team, like Auburn, our favorite team in our house. It doesn't make sense to fight over who the best member of the team is because they all have different jobs. There's the quarterback who throws the ball. There's the defensive line who protects. There's the offensive line who also protects. There's the running backs who run as fast as they can. And they each have to have different skills that each one of them has different things that they're good at. So it doesn't make sense to compare someone who throws the ball, how good he can throw the ball, against how good somebody can run as fast and catch the ball. Those are two different things. And we need both of them to make the best team. Or maybe you're more into music. Think about an orchestra. Or think about a big musician or a big group of musicians. It wouldn't be good if all we had were cellos. We need the violas. We need the flutes. And we especially need the conductor, right? It doesn't make sense to argue about what the best instrument is. Because if we only had one kind of instrument, it wouldn't be as beautiful. If we only had a bunch of quarterbacks on our football team, we couldn't win the game. It just doesn't make sense. And so I want you to think about what's something that you're really, really good at. Do you give the best hugs? Are you good at writing letters? Are you good at cheering someone up when they're feeling down? What are you good at? But whatever you're good at, I'm so glad you're a part of our church, because we couldn't be our church without you. Each of us have a special gift that only you have. And I'm so glad that you're a part of our football team or our orchestra, because we wouldn't be the same without you. So please keep on doing the thing that you're good at. And I can't wait until we're back together again. Bye.